It's 1:45 a.m. A torrential downpour batters the windows of a midnight commuter train. Over the last month, 4 working women have been attacked and thrown from these high-speed routes by a pair of unidentified killers. A lone commuter sprints down the desolate platform, catching the final ride home. A month ago, she sat in one of these cars and watched a woman get dragged to her death. She kept her mouth shut during the attack, and terror has kept her from the police ever since. This schematic outlines the car. Locked doors create an enclosure with no alternate exits and miles between stations. She jumps inside just as the heavy doors clamp shut. A single pulsing dot shows her isolated position. She is entirely alone. The sound of the locking mechanism forces her to face the reality of her isolation. She is trapped with the weight of her own silence. The car appears empty. As she takes a seat and wipes the rain from her face, she notices a discarded object near her feet. It's a newspaper, damp with rainwater, resting on the floorboards. The bold Hindi headline details the exact murder she witnessed. The blurry photograph of the victim sits directly at her feet, placing the memory she tried to bury back in the center of her vision. At the next stop, a second passenger boards. She is a young woman in office wear, appearing exhausted from a late shift. She sits down near the exit doors and closes her eyes. The killers have established a specific pattern. They target isolated working women who are traveling late and seated near exits for quick disposal. This new passenger matches every element of their target profile. The protagonist's breathing quickens. The time, the setting, and the victim profile from a month ago have all reappeared in front of her. The doors slide open for 2 men with concealed faces. They don't take a seat. They stand in the aisle, quietly surveying the length of the car. The silence in the car stretches. The physical presence of the men drains away the protagonist's ability to think rationally. Her panic leads to a brief, vivid hallucination. She relives the chaotic struggle from 30 days ago, seeing the shadows of the previous murder play out across the empty seats. A loud crash of flesh hitting metal jolts her back to the present. The men have made their move. The attack is happening again. The situation has reached a breaking point. She can no longer remain a passive bystander. She scrambles under the seats to hide. But as she peers through the dim lighting, she realizes the expected struggle is moving in a different direction. The masked killers aren't overpowering the passenger. Instead, they are being slammed against the walls and floor by an invisible force, screaming as they are dismantled in the aisle. The attacker begins to take a visible shape. It is the woman from the newspaper headline, the victim the protagonist failed to help a month ago. The entity drags both men toward the open doors. She ejects them into the night, mirroring the exact way they killed her. Human justice was bypassed by a violent resolution that the protagonist's silence couldn't prevent. The young woman by the door stands up, entirely unharmed, and draws a police-issued handgun. She was an undercover officer, acting as part of a high-stakes sting operation. Armed backup bursts in from the adjacent car to find an empty aisle. The legal trap was set, but a different kind of vengeance arrived first. The protagonist is left with the knowledge that some debts are collected even when the law is too late. Silence has a price, and sometimes the victims find their own way to settle the account.